Hey everyone, and welcome back to the More Than a Physique podcast, where we discuss ways to ignite all areas of your life surrounding health, fitness, and becoming mentally elite. My name is Krysten Jansen, and welcome everyone to episode 50. And I want to welcome everyone to my YouTube channel as well. I'm actually recording as well, sup YouTube, and going to be posting the video to YouTube as well as my podcast for this week's episode. So I apologize that I haven't recorded a podcast in a good amount of time now, and I thought I would take today's episode as an opportunity to just discuss what the month of June of 2020 has brought me. As you can tell from the title of today's video podcast, I ruptured my Achilles tendon on June 1st. Today is June 24th, so 24 days ago, 3.5 weeks now into my recovery. It's taken me a long time to want to really discuss it in detail just because I've been struggling. I really have been. I've been doing a good job of documenting it, not the whole process, not the ins and outs of my physical and mental rehab right now on Instagram, but I'm trying to keep one level of my social media platforms just kind of current as to what is going on. But it's taken me a while to really want to work up the courage and just the mental strength right now to discuss it, more vulnerable through a podcast and video. But today, I just honestly got off the phone with Kyle after having a pretty good conversation as to where I am at, because he's definitely my rock right now. And before I get into the whole story, but he definitely encouraged me and, motivated me to work up the strength today to tell my story, to talk about what's going on. So let's go backwards here. June 1st. The basketball courts have been open up for maybe a week or two, and Kyle and I have been playing a lot because, of course, with COVID-19, all of the playgrounds were shut down and we couldn't do anything. Even the basketball courts, they completely boarded them up. They took the nets down. You couldn't even go shoot hoops by yourself. We won't get into that because, everyone has their own opinions on that, but it sucked. So we were very excited when the hoops started opening back up. We were playing a lot more. Normally we just play 21, nothing too aerobically taxing, but over the last few sessions of us playing, we've been playing one-on-one. So of course a lot of more anaerobic movement and, power movements in there, sprinting and stuff like that. Short bursts of energy that, I'm not always used to, but when you grew up playing basketball, you grew up playing that way, you think you're invisible. It's like riding a bike, right? You just jump back into it. So we've been playing a lot, and then on June 1st, we already played 2 games, and I jammed my finger with the basketball. I don't know if any of my other basketball players are out there, when the ball hits your finger, and oh my gosh, that's the worst. It actually still kind of hurts now that I'm playing with it right now, but it's the worst when you jam your finger. So after my second game, I jammed my finger and I kind of shook it off, and it was feeling okay, and Kyle's like, let's just play one more game, just one more. And I had this feeling inside me where I was like, nah, I should probably call it. I'm feeling pretty tired. There's some wear and tear, clearly, that's probably enough for today. But Kyle knows how to get me going because I'm very competitive, and I'm like, screw it. I need to beat him. So I was like, we'll play one more. We'll play just to 3, because the other games we were playing until 5 or 10, I can't remember. But I was like, it'll be a short game. And I scored 2 points. I almost won. And I threw up a shot, missed it, went in for the rebound, both of us. When I jumped up, I turned halfway in the air, and I came and landed down. And I didn't land incorrectly. I didn't lose my balance or stability, but I turned around because it felt like somebody punched me in the back of my left calf. And if anyone's ever gone through an Achilles rupture before, or if they know anyone, or even if you see it from other professional athletes, they always turn around and look to see if anyone hit them. And it was the weirdest thing. I think I even yelled out, like, what the fuck? Pardon my French, but I turned around, I'm like, who the heck hit me? And I knew right then and there, because there was no one there, obviously, when I was on the ground, I'm like, holy cow. I'm like, Kyle, I just ruptured my Achilles. He's like, no, it's probably just like an ankle sprain. Maybe you just rolled your ankle. And I could just feel it in the back. And I was like, nah, like, I know that it's my Achilles. And I started, like, panicking a little bit because I knew, like, right then and there what was going to be involved, because I already made the assumption myself that it was an Achilles rupture. So I was like, holy shit, Kyle, like, I'm freaking out. And he just calmed me down, gave me a piggyback to the car, because I didn't even want to try to stand up. And the first person who actually came into my head when I did try for a second to stand up, I'm like, no, I can't, was actually Kobe Bryant. And for anyone who knows his story, he ruptured his Achilles, and I think it was his last 2 or 3 years of playing in the NBA. And man, I just, like, thought, this guy's like a friggin' monster when you see him do it, because what happened is he ruptured his Achilles and he got fouled. He went back out, walked onto the court to shoot his 2 free throws, made both of them, walked off the court, and immediately went to get surgery, and they won the game by 2 points. And when you watch that and you haven't gone through this injury, like, wow, that's so heroic, like, that's amazing, that's a warrior. And I still think that, but instantly I thought, I'm like, what a maniac. How the fuck did he do that? Like, that's impossible. I couldn't even, like, begin to think about the process of trying to even stand up. So he was the first person that came into my head. So Kyle piggybacked me into the car. We immediately went to the ER, and he dropped me off. And it really sucked, because I think I have a low pain tolerance, and more so in, like, in a fearful way, where I'm afraid of pain and going through the process of it. And I wanted him to stay with me, but due to the joys of COVID-19, he wasn't allowed to come into the hospital with me, which, again, topic for another day, but little side rant, which is really frustrating considering we haven't had a case in over a month, but whatever. I made it through it. I was totally, like, I managed through it. So yeah, he had to leave me. I had to wait in the ER by myself for 3 hours. They did an ultrasound, and the nurses came by, and, you know, were trying to feel it, and, like, I was in so much pain. The amount of pain that I had to deal with for those 3 hours, actually, because I just couldn't stop crying, not like an annoying cry, like just tears would come from my eyes basically the whole time, because the throbbing and the pain that you're just sitting in an uncomfortable wheelchair for 3 hours, it was, holy shit, I don't think I've ever been in so much pain in my entire life. So they had to give me some drugs to help calm the pain a little bit. After 3 hours, they eventually got me in for an ultrasound, and just to confirm that it was an Achilles rupture, and then they were able to measure the amount of centimeters, and I still don't really know what it means to this day, but let me quickly, I think I have, yes I do. So it, just based on their the progress notes here, the left Achilles rupture was 5.3 centimeters from insertion. The tear defect was approximately 2.9 centimeters. So not quite sure exactly what that means, like, just in regards to the severity of that, but at the end of the day, there's a gap, right? So in between where my calf muscles and my heel is, there's a gap there. So they ended up referring me to a surgeon. They wrapped up my foot and put my foot down into plantar flexion, so that way the tendon can start to come closer together and start to heal itself. So I made an appointment the next morning with the surgeon, and of course didn't really know the processes involved, because you hear so many different things. Do you need surgery? Do you not need surgery? And I had to do my own research, because of course I'm not just gonna sleep at night and completely, you know, understand and go with what the doctor is saying. Nothing against the professionals at all, but, you know, you want to know, do a little bit of homework prior to your appointment. So that happened on Monday. Called Tuesday morning to get my appointment, went in on Wednesday. The surgeon took the splint off and oh my goodness, rolled me onto my stomach so that way he can take a look at the heel. Even though they had an ultrasound, he wanted to, analyze it himself. And him just playing with my foot, oh my God, like, I couldn't even help it. Like, the amount of pain, I'm sorry, like, it was astronomical. Like, oh my gosh. Anyways, it's feeling a lot better now. So he's like, yep, it's definitely ruptured. He went through the pros and cons with me as to going the surgical or non-surgical route, and I thought I needed surgery, but apparently you can make the choice if you want to have surgery or not. The only real difference is the fact that non-surgical, which is the decision I ended up going with, is the recovery process is a little bit longer, approximately like maybe 3 to 4 weeks. And the whole process, like regardless of each of whichever option you decide on, is probably around 6 to 9 months. So I'm like, you know what, 6 to 9 months, additional 4 weeks. I've never been in surgery before, never been under or anything like that. I'm like, I will suck it up for another 4 weeks. At that point, it's not going to feel like that much of a difference. There are some like controversy in regards to re-rupture rates or not, but as long as you follow more current protocols for the non-surgical route, where you start to do some mobility within the after the first couple of weeks, that, the re-rupture rate between surgical and non-surgical is not too much difference. There's not a lot of difference there. So as long as you do the things properly, there's not too much of a difference. The only difference is you get back to sport a little bit quicker, and as well to the surgical route, you probably get more of your performance back. I'm not a professional basketball player, I'm definitely probably not going to be doing any one-on-one after this. I say that now, maybe I'll get over that fear. I might just stick to 21, get really good at free throws, and that's it. But I'm not going to be going to play intramurals or anything like that, unfortunately. It's just not worth the injury. I actually sprained my right foot maybe 5 years ago playing basketball, so I've definitely hurt myself quite a bit with the sport, and as much as I love it and, want to keep it within me, I want my kids to play basketball, it's just not going to be something that I'm going to be overly invested in. So that's another reason why I didn't want to go to the surgical route. I'm like, nah, I'm just going to stick to bodybuilding. Not going to do a lot of cardio, no half marathons or anything like that as I get older. So I think I'll be safe in regards to not re-rupturing, providing, I do things properly with the non-surgical route. So with that involved, after the first couple of weeks, I was put into an air cast. I know you guys can't see it on my podcast, but for YouTube family, that's what it looks like there. And I'm currently within week 3 now, where I'm supposed to start doing light weight bearing with the crutches. So there's a lot of floating, walking going on right now. So that's basically everything that has gone on up until this point from a physical standpoint. From a mental standpoint, I don't want to come across like I'm complaining, but I had a day where I was pretty vulnerable on Instagram, and a lot of people actually really appreciated that. So it was reassuring that it's okay for me to share my struggles and everything that I'm going through with you guys. And it's probably a good thing, just because, as we all know, social media can very much be filtered, where so many people just share the highlight reel and don't really share the struggles that they're going through. But basically, like, I was thinking about it, and I was talking about it with Kyle, because the whole reason I started my podcast was when I injured my back 2 years ago, and the premise behind it was the fact that, I want to be more than a physique. I want to be more than just looking a certain way, and to be a stronger and better athlete. And I learned so much from my back injury. I really did, and I've talked about it before, where I wouldn't take it back. Like, I don't want to go through it again, but I learned so much during that process, and you can't really see that until you look back retrospectively. And I'm trying to remind myself that of this injury right now, where there is a lesson to be learned here. In the beginning, there was a lot of why me? Why has this happened? I just got over my back injury where I was finally back to a place where I was lifting as much as I was prior for squats and for bench press. I still haven't even been able to deadlift yet. I was looking forward to going back to the gyms and start deadlifting because I was feeling like I was finally, after 2 years, 100%. And then 2 weeks before the gyms open back up, I rupture my Achilles, and it feels like I'm back to square one where I'm not able to train anymore. And I know there's more to life than training and bodybuilding, but it's more so for my own mental sanity. Like I'm in a very therapeutic state and meditative state when I am lifting. And that's one of the reasons why I don't really train with people, because it's my moment of peace. That's my time to meditate and just be in the zone for myself. So to have that taken away from you, and as well too, all of your independence, and that's where I was talking to Kyle about this. What's the difference between my mentality here with the Achilles injury compared to my back injury? And the difference was, yes, my lifting changed for both of them, where I can't lift anymore. I still am a little bit, but the biggest difference between the two is my independence is gone. My back injury, I was still able to take my dog for a walk. I was still able to drive my car and not need Kyle's help. I was still able to just do things around the house, whereas now I'm on crutches. I got an iWalk 2.0 and an e-scooter, and your independence is completely gone, where I'm relying on Kyle quite a bit. And he has a lot going on. Work has finally picked back up for him now that, things are slowly kind of going back to this new normal after COVID. And he's busier than ever right now with real estate. So it's tough, but I'm still struggling. I'm not going to lie. And that's why I've waited so long to talk about this, because sometimes it's a little bit easier to talk about it when you feel like you've had a breakthrough, but I haven't yet, and maybe I have, and I'm just not seeing it. And I thought that maybe just talking about it right now before I feel ready, it might just let some things out. So that's basically where I am at. I guess I just wanted to get this story out to you guys so you had an idea what is going on. I think the only kind of real thing that I can give you guys right now for a takeaway would be just to appreciate everything that your bodies have been able to do for you. And that's something that I'm trying to practice every day. The fact that, my body has allowed me to do so much over this life that we easily take it for granted. And that's something that I have definitely realized over these last 3 weeks. And I think that it might be worth me just sharing with you one of my favorite probably Instagram posts that I made. Sorry if you've seen it already, but it's a good reminder. And I just wrote, "Dear body, I want to take a minute to appreciate all the things you've ever done for me. From figure skating when I was 3 years old, to dancing in ballet, jazz, and hip hop for 10 years, to trying every single sport under the sun, to playing basketball throughout elementary, high school, running 2 half marathons without properly training, to competing in powerlifting, competing in bodybuilding, and hiking, longboarding, swimming, and walking. Thank you. You've always allowed me to do everything I've ever wanted to do. And quite often, I've taken these things for granted. You've always taken care of me. Now it's my turn to take care of you." So that's where I'm at. And I'm just going to continue to take it step by step each day. The coolest thing that I'm dealing with right now is I get to see the progress pretty quickly on a day-to-day basis. It's not like I just broke a bone and I'm in a cast and I just sit around and wait for it to heal. I am supposed to do daily rehab exercises, nothing too crazy right now, but I take my foot out of the boot probably every hour or two. And maybe I'll show this in another video where I just do some range of motion movements, nothing major, and practice walking with the crutches. I'm supposed to ditch the crutches in either week 4 or week 5, depending on what I'm capable of. So there is progress that is being made on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, and there is a clear plan of attack as to what I need to do. I just need to make sure that my actions are in line with my mindset in order to make sure that I'm continuing to do the things that I need to get better. So that part's kind of cool, is because we as human beings, we thrive on progress, right? We need to see progress in order to move forward. That's why we're not we're not cavemen anymore, is because we rely on evolution. So something else that's a good takeaway for you guys is, even though my progress is very slow right now, progress is still being made, and you can definitely apply that in your own lives. Whether it is you're trying to train for something, maybe a marathon, a triathlon, you're trying to lose weight, change your body composition. We all want the results yesterday. Believe me, I would love nothing more than going to play basketball right now, or going to be able to squat. I can't even do that anymore. But I am making progress on a day-to-day basis. Small or large, an inch or a mile, progress is progress. So when you see that progress, please just do me a favor and appreciate it. We put so much goddamn pressure on ourselves to do things all the time, to the point where we just completely overestimate things that we can do within a year. And that's a common saying. We overestimate what we can do in 6 months and completely underestimate what we're capable of in 10 years. So if you just keep focusing on slow progress, like the turtle wins the race, it's so true. Progress will be made, and that's what's more important than actually getting to that destination. And then lastly, I'll just leave you guys with this, because there's a lot of emotions going on right now, a lot of depression amongst a lot of people, myself included. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm depressed right now. It is a struggle, a battle for me to do anything right now. That's why it's taken me so long to put out a video of a podcast episode for you guys. The only thing that I'm motivated to do right now is stuff for my clients. That's it. I don't even really want to, do anything, make myself food, eat properly, focus on my studying. There's so many things that I need to do, but I don't want to. I don't, but I'm not letting that hold me back. Every single day I'm tracking my food. Every single day I'm spending, even if it's just 10 minutes studying where I'm used to spending hours, it's better than nothing. So if you have those moments where you just don't want to train, you just don't want to do anything, you're allowed to feel that way, but you don't have to react that way. You don't have to react to those emotions. You're totally allowed to feel them. They're there. Acknowledge them, but they don't have to control your life. You don't need to be a prisoner to your excuses. You don't need to be a prisoner to your injuries like myself. So don't take your body for granted. If you don't want to train, think of me. Be like, I'm going to train for Krysten because she can't right now. And that alone, I can't tell you, that would mean the world to me. It truly would. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for me, because I can't. And that would mean everything to me. Okay, before I get very emotional and before this episode gets very long, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. I promise that I am getting better, and I am going to get back to a regular routine once I get things kind of figured out. I've definitely connected with other people who have gone through this, and some people are at their 1 year mark, and they're like, don't worry, you'll find your stride within, that first 30 to 60 days. It sucks in the beginning, but you'll get there. So I'm just going to be optimistic that it's just going to continue to get better. Thank you all again so much for listening. Make sure you guys stick around for another episode sometime very soon, and go out there, strive for more, be more, and ignite your inner athlete.